The potential TikTok ban in the United States is back in the news. A recent ruling by a U.S. appeals court has brought the issue into focus again, upholding a law that could force TikTok to be sold.
If TikTok isn't sold to an American company, it could be banned from the U.S. market.
This isn't a new issue, though. What makes this ruling significant now?
This ruling from the appeals court has really limited TikTok's legal options. Before, they could have kept appealing within the lower courts. Now their main option is going directly to the Supreme Court.
So, is it likely the Supreme Court will ultimately decide if TikTok is banned in the U.S.?
It's definitely a possibility. There could be other developments like legislative action or the incoming president stepping in, but a Supreme Court decision seems the most likely right now.
There's a lot of talk about national security concerns surrounding TikTok. Can you explain those concerns?
The main concern is that TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is based in China. U.S. officials worry that the data TikTok collects could be accessed by the Chinese government, potentially impacting the privacy and security of American users.
Aside from data privacy, there are also worries about censorship on the platform.
That's another big concern. Critics say the Chinese government could influence ByteDance, leading to the suppression of content they find politically sensitive or critical of China. This raises questions about freedom of speech on the platform.
What arguments has TikTok made to address these concerns?
TikTok has always insisted that they operate independently of the Chinese government and that they store American user data securely in the United States. They've also emphasized their support for free speech and denied any censorship due to pressure from the Chinese government.
But it seems the U.S. government isn't convinced by these assurances.
The U.S. government's position seems to stem from a lack of trust in the Chinese government. They argue that even if TikTok is operating independently now, there's no guarantee that will continue in the future.
It feels like this situation is as much about geopolitics and the U.S.-China relationship as it is about a social media app.
It's definitely a factor. TikTok has become a focal point in the tensions between the U.S. and China. It shows the challenges of navigating technology, data security, and competition between powerful nations.
What about the timeline? What are the key dates to watch out for?
The most pressing date is January 19th, 2025. That's when app stores like Apple and Google would be legally prohibited from offering TikTok for download in the United States.
What about people who already have the app? Would they still be able to use it?
The details are unclear, but it's likely existing users could still access TikTok for a while, even if new downloads are blocked. But they wouldn't get updates or new features, so the app might become less functional over time.
It seems TikTok needs to find a resolution quickly. What options do they have?
Their primary legal option is appealing the ruling to the Supreme Court. They'd be hoping the court either reverses the decision or at least delays the ban. They could also sell their U.S. operations to an American company, as the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States initially recommended.
Given the limited time, how likely is it that the Supreme Court will take up the case, and how quickly could they make a decision?
Given the significant constitutional questions involved, particularly regarding free speech, there's a decent chance the Supreme Court will agree to hear the case. If they do, and considering the urgency, we could expect a decision relatively quickly, possibly within the next few months.
So a lot hinges on what the Supreme Court decides. What if they refuse to hear the case or uphold the lower court's ruling?
If the Supreme Court doesn't get involved, TikTok's options become much more limited. They'd probably be forced to comply with the divestiture order or face a complete ban in the U.S. But there's another element to consider: the incoming Trump administration.
This is where things get interesting. During his previous term, President Trump was very vocal about wanting to ban TikTok due to national security concerns, but his stance seems to have changed.
Yes, President Trump has recently said he wouldn't ban TikTok. This change in his position adds more uncertainty. His actions during the transition and early in his term could have a significant impact on the app's future.
So, what might we see happen in the next few weeks regarding the presidential transition and actions the new administration might take?
There are a few possibilities. President Trump could try to pressure TikTok to speed up the divestiture process. Or he could instruct the Department of Justice to delay or stop enforcing the ban, which could open a window for more negotiation or legal maneuvering.
Let's explore those scenarios and their potential consequences.
Absolutely. If President Trump pushes for a quick divestiture, we might see a resolution even before January. TikTok's U.S. operations could be bought by an American company, allowing the app to keep running, but under new ownership.
That would avoid a ban, but what would it mean for TikTok's users and content creators?
A change in ownership could mean changes to the app's algorithm, content moderation policies, and the whole user experience. It also brings up concerns about data privacy with the new owners.
And what about President Trump asking the Department of Justice to delay enforcing the ban? Why would he do that, and what could happen?
Delaying enforcement might be about avoiding disruptions to a platform that millions of Americans use. The economic effects on content creators and businesses who rely on TikTok might be a consideration.
But wouldn't delaying enforcement likely cause legal challenges?
It's possible that delaying enforcement could lead to legal challenges and accusations that the president is overstepping his authority.
It seems the incoming administration has to carefully consider the consequences of their actions. They're dealing with legal, economic, and political factors all at once.
They do. This situation requires a careful balancing act between national security concerns and the potential economic and social impact of a ban.
Moving past TikTok's immediate fate, what are the broader implications of this situation? This raises questions about the role of technology, data security, and freedom of expression in our increasingly interconnected world.
It does. This case shows the rising tension between individual freedoms and national security in the digital age. It also highlights how difficult it is to regulate global tech companies and the need for international cooperation on data privacy issues.
This debate also reveals the evolving relationship between the U.S. and China, particularly in the realm of technology and digital innovation.
This situation is a prime example of the geopolitical rivalry between these two superpowers, with technology as a key battleground. It makes you think about the possibility of the U.S. and China separating in the tech sector and what that could mean for the global economy.
It seems the effects of this situation extend beyond just TikTok, potentially shaping the future of the internet and the digital world.
It forces us to confront important questions about who owns data, how platforms are governed, and finding the right balance between innovation and regulation in the digital space. These issues will shape how technology evolves and its impact on society.
It's incredible how one social media app can spark such profound and multifaceted discussions.
It reflects how deeply technology is woven into our lives and the complexities we face in navigating its rapid development.
The TikTok story is far from over. The next weeks and months will be interesting to watch as events unfold.
They will. The choices made in this crucial time will have lasting consequences, not just for TikTok and its users, but for the entire digital world.
It's crucial to stay informed and have thoughtful discussions about the ethical, legal, and societal implications of these emerging technologies.
A balanced approach is needed. We need to recognize the power of technology and the need for responsible oversight to ensure its benefits are widely distributed and its risks are managed effectively.
Considering the potential outcomes, what advice would you give our listeners who are using TikTok or interacting with content on the platform?
Users should stay up to date on the situation and think about expanding their presence on other platforms. It's a good idea to explore alternatives and build connections outside of TikTok because we don't know what will happen with the app.
This must be a very unsettling time for content creators who depend on TikTok for their income or audience engagement. What can they do to manage this uncertain period?
Content creators should prioritize establishing themselves on multiple platforms to reduce the potential impact if TikTok is banned. They should also focus on creating diverse income streams and exploring other ways to make money from their content.
What about businesses that use TikTok for marketing and outreach? How should they adjust their strategies given this evolving situation?
Businesses should carefully consider how much they rely on TikTok and investigate alternative platforms for reaching their target audiences. Diversifying their marketing strategies is also a good idea. They should concentrate on fostering brand loyalty and connecting with customers through multiple channels.
This situation really highlights the need to be adaptable in the digital world.
It does. In a tech landscape that's constantly changing, being flexible, adaptable, and proactive in diversifying your online presence and strategies is essential.
As we wrap up our discussion, what are your main takeaways for our listeners about the broader implications of this debate about banning TikTok?
The TikTok situation underscores the importance of digital literacy, critical thinking, and having informed conversations about the role of technology in society. It also emphasizes the need to balance innovation with responsible governance, making sure that technology benefits humanity while protecting individual rights and social values.
This debate surrounding TikTok is a clear reminder that the digital realm isn't separate from the rest of the world. It's woven into our social, economic, and political landscape.
It shows how interconnected our world is and how developments in technology can have profound and far-reaching effects on everyone, individuals, businesses, and entire nations.
Thank you for joining us today to explore the complexities of a potential TikTok ban in the United States.
It was great to be here and share my perspective.
We encourage our listeners to keep learning from different sources, participate in thoughtful conversations, and develop their own well-informed opinions on this complex issue. As technology rapidly evolves, it's crucial that we all stay informed and actively participate in shaping its course to ensure a beneficial future for everyone.